Hey YouTube, it's me again, and this is going to be a deck profile on Royal Paladins, my build for the standard format. I'm going to be doing some more videos for the trip that I took to Houston this past weekend. I just haven't gotten all my stuff situated and all this and that. I am going to be showing you the deck profile of the deck I played in Buddy Fight and going over everything there. Long story short, guys, Vanguard didn't really go the way I wanted it to. I played against... I unfortunately didn't go with my gut instinct, and I let other people influence my decision on what I should play. I ended up playing Oracle Think Tank, and I really wish I hadn't have. I wish I would have stuck with my gut and played Kagero, but I didn't. So this Royal Paladin deck comes from after the tournament. I was done with Oracle Think Tank. I didn't want any more part of it. I didn't want the deck. I wanted it gone. I found a guy who was trading in his Royal Paladin deck to a vendor that was at the event, and I told the vendor, if you pick up the entire deck, I want to trade in my Oracle Think Tank deck, and whatever the balance is left over, if, you know, as long as it's reasonable, I'd be willing to pick it up. And basically the way it turned out is the guy sold the Royal Paladin deck, and he looked at my Oracle Think Tank deck, and he said, you know, pretty much, if you are okay with it, I'm okay trading them straight across, because it was pretty much the same value. I mean, obviously, I think Oracle Think Tank decks are worth a little bit more, but he has to also resell it. So, I got out of it what I wanted. I got pretty much the build that I want. So it was a pretty good deal for me. So the Oracle Think Tank deck profile, if I was still going to be playing it, I would still be played the same way as the deck profile that I posted on the channel. But I'm not going to be doing any more Oracle Think Tank, unfortunately. So I would still be willing to give you my opinion on what I would change if some of you want to know when new support comes out. But most likely, I'll never say definitely not, but most likely you will not see another Oracle Think Tank deck for at least a while. Maybe, and I say this with a very slim bit, I might look at Magus when the deck comes out, but I don't know. So anyway, guys, let's get right into this. So, like I said, this is Royal Paladin. If you went to the Houston Regional, you got these really cool sleeves. So I got these really cool Royal Paladin sleeves to put on it. So obviously your starter is going to be Glime. This is, you know, pretty standard. This is the only starter they have right now. So ride on him, draw a card. And I'm not going to act like there's going to be any critical thinking here, guys, because pretty much every Royal Paladin deck runs this lineup right here. 4 Epona, 4 Flogel, 4 Flash Sealed Assault Perfects, and your 4 Elaine Heals. So 8 crit, 4 draw, 4 heal, which is standard right now. So, like I said, nothing too surprising. For our grade 1s, we're playing 4 copies of Knight Squire Alan. Alan is a really good card. He is a grade 1. His ability is when he's placed, you can counterblast 1, and you can call it to 1 card with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from your hand to the rear guard. If you call a card, draw 1 from your deck, and this unit gets plus 3,000 until end of turn. So this gives you a way to call him, call something else, and replace the card you call. So you're basically getting to call 2 cards to the field for only you losing 1 hand card. So really, really good. And then we also play 4 copies of Little Sage Marin. Little Sage Marin and Alan are essentially the same card in many ways. They just act different. Marin activates whenever another rear guard is placed in the same column as her. You can counterblast 1. She receives an additional 3,000 power for that turn, and you draw a card. So she essentially becomes an 11k booster. You draw 1. And, you know, so there's that. Next we play our 4 Pongal. Pongal, I wish they had the old art of Pongal. I really liked it better. But Pongal, when he's placed, if you have another unit in the same column as him, you soul charge 1, and then if the card you soul charge is a trigger, he gets 5,000 power, so he becomes a 13k attacker or booster. And then for the last grade 1, I play 2 copies of Radical Knight Anil. Basically, when he attacks a Vanguard, he goes to 11. So, pretty, again, pretty standard. That last grade 1 slot is open to interpretation, but I think the rest of it's pretty standard. Grade 2s, obviously we're playing our 4 Blaster Blades. This is, given. So the deck kind of still revolves mostly around Blaster Blade, really. And rightly so, it's Royal Paladin, I get it. So, first skill, Vanguard Continuous. If you have 4 or more rear guards, he gets +1 critical. So if you can manage to build a decent board and you're going first, when you ride grade 2 for the first time, if you can get 4 rear guards on the field, you can swing with +1 crit, and that can give you a really good early advantage if your opponent lets it go. And then his other ability is when he's placed, you can Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the front row, and retire it. So, and that is also a Vanguard and rear guard skill. So, there's that. Next we play our 4 High Dog Breeder Akane. Akane is really good to create you a easy, good 21k column attacking column. Whenever she's placed, you Counterblast 1, and you can search your deck for up to 1 Pongle and call it to rearguard and shuffle your deck. And then during the battle, when she attacks, if she's boosted by a high beast, she gets 3k. So if she's boosted by Wingle or Pongle or any other high beast, she becomes 11. She becomes a 13k attacker, so you get a 21k column. So really, really good. And then the last grade 2 is I go with 3 copies of Sage of the Arts Joron. When it attacks a Vanguard, if you have 3 or more rear guards, he becomes a 15k attacker. So he is going to get a little bit of a boost and become a little more stronger. So grade 3s, we're playing 2 copies of Alfred Early. So when he comes into play, obviously since this is a force deck, you're going to get a force marker. And then whenever he's placed, you can Counterblast 1, and you can call up to 1 Blaster Blade from your hand or soul to the rear guard, and he gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn, and the Blaster Blade gets 10,000 power until end of turn. And if you called a card, you get to draw a card. So it also replaces itself if you call it out of your hand, and if not, you get to +1. So 3 copies of King of Knights Alfred. King of Knights Alfred can serve as your first or second ride. Alfred Early is the ideal first ride, but as long as it's one of these 2, it's okay, really. So, King of Knights Alfred, his ability is Counterblast 1 once per turn, and you can search your deck for up to 1 Blaster Blade from your deck and call it to the rearguard circle, and he gets plus 5,000 until end of turn, and then shuffle your deck. And then his other skill, which is really cool, is during your turn, if Blaster Blade is on your field, he gets an additional 10,000 power. So, what's really cool about him is if you ride him or Alfred Early first and you get your force marker, if you ride Alfred Early first, I can maybe understand giving it your force marker to the Vanguard circle, but if you call Alfred Early, Alfred, King of Knights Alfred, and you call Blaster Blade to the rearguard, you usually want to give the force marker to the Blaster Blade, because he's already going to get the 10,000 power boost, so you essentially have 2 rearguards that are getting it for the price of 1. So, I can see why, people still play Alfred Early. Even though King of Knights Alfred, playing him at 4 is not a bad thing. But Alfred Early is a good card, guys. So I don't... this is really situational. I don't... well, let me finish the grade 3s here real quick. Obviously, if you know anything, the last 3 cards are... well, if you know anything about the Royal Paladin standard build, is 3 Soul Saver Dragons. So, her skill is obviously Soul Blast 5, and choose all 6 units on your field gain plus 15k. and then whenever she attacks, you soul charge 1. I don't see playing. You don't play 4 Soul Saver. 3 is enough because you're going to see it every game. Then at that point, but I also don't see the point of playing 4 Alfred and 4 Soul Saver. So I can see cutting 1 out of each and playing 2 Alfred early. That way, it gives you a higher chance of riding into either one of these as your first, and that's what you want. I can see running 4 King of Knights Alfred and only 1 Alfred early if you want. But this is honestly, it's not really going to matter between 4 King of Knights Alfred and 2 Alfred early, or 4 King of Knights Alfred and 1 Alfred early as opposed to 3-2, I should say. But, because you're going to use these, whether you ride 2 Alfreds or Alfred early and then King of Knights Alfred, you're going to ride 2 of these generally before you go to Soul Saver usually, unless you just push your opponent really far and you use your Pongles to build your soul and you drop Soul Saver just to finish them off. But generally you're going to go 1, 2, and then 3. But that's pretty much it, guys. Royal Paladin is pretty straightforward. Build a strong board and push. That's what Royal Paladin just is. So, very effective. One of the better decks in the format by far, just because of, what it can do. So anyway, guys, this is Royal Paladin, Aichi. So, anyway, this is my take on the deck. You've probably seen many builds that are like this, but this is, in my opinion, with the support we have right now, the best way to play the deck, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to Exculpate the Blaster coming out and seeing how that'll change the deck and all the cards that are in that set that'll change it. So we will look forward to what that does for it during that time. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you leave your thoughts and comments below if you would like to share them. I'd love to hear them. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you already haven't. Thumbs up the video for me, and I'll see you next time.